Welcome to Sloss and Humphries on the road. This is episode 3 of the new tour. We've just done a gig in Belfast, and then Daniel went to Liverpool. I went to Aberdeen to do my solo show, and then we'll meet back up at his house for this episode. It's a very good one. We talk about raising children and different methods, and the whole way through I'm just biting my tongue not to bring up Peggy. And also, we're about to record a Q&A for the Patreons. So if you're listening to the public episode, that's already out now. So if you sign up to Patreon, you can listen to the Q&A. And if you sign up to the second or third tier, you'll be able to ask questions on the next one. So get involved with that if you want. If not, keep enjoying the podcast on a weekly basis and enjoy.
Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and cream and muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
And that's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh. They said it can't be done.
Hi, mate.
Hiya.
We've been on different roads.
Well, we have. We started together in Belfast, so we got there separately. And I don't know what your journey was from the airport, but as always, doesn't matter which Ireland you're in, every Emerald Isle dwelling taxi driver thinks they have the God-given right to just talk to you the entire fucking time.
I was in a taxi with Marlene and she was in the front, so they were just having at it. I feel like the talking taxi driver is for Marlena.
Yeah,
and co. They really enjoyed each other's company, and I was like, this is sweet for me because this acts as a human shield now. I can just watch shit on my iPad.
Aye.
But not you.
No. I mean, it's nice conversation. But you know what's better than nice conversation? No conversation.
Just enjoying your hangover.
Zero conversation.
Have you tried really leaning into it though, and just ask them a few things about themselves and showing interest?
Yeah. Doesn't make me feel any better. Don't enjoy the chat anymore.
The other day, slower.
Yeah, well, the guy the other day was complaining about some of the fucking roadworks and having come back from fucking Glasgow last week where the roads were a nightmare to get back. I'm like, okay, I can complain about roads and how, the government doesn't do a good enough job. I don't think you should be allowed to close one road and then just be like, and if there's any other road works within a 5-mile vicinity, whoopsie daisy. We're the city planners, but we don't really, and I was able to hold up that. But the entire time I'm like, none of this conversation matters.
You just want to tap on their face and see how long's left, like a YouTube video.
Yeah. And just go, we would both benefit from just, silence here. I won't even be on my phone. I'll just sit in the back and fucking meditate. There's always this weird thing as well. For some reason, people are much more comfortable interrupting you reading a book than they are you on your phone.
Aye. And if you're just texting or whatever, they'll be like, oh, he's busy.
Yeah, you'll not.
But if you're reading a book, they're like, he's bored.
Yeah, I've got my Kindle and they're like, so how's your day? You're like, what the fuck are you doing? This is, if I was on my phone, I know some people work on their phone, but look at me and make the assumption that I definitely don't work on my fucking phone.
You're looking at memes.
Aye. Reddit. And that good fucking Brendan Schaub drama.
I got I got declined from the lounge.
Why?
Because you know how British Airways were booked for British Airways for the Aer Lingus flight, and then I was like, you know what, I'll go to the airport early. It's a fucking 8 o'clock flight. I was like, I'll be there from 6:30. I've got my lounge access. I've got my silver membership, and I went in. And they were like, "You gold member?" No, I'm not going to do an Austin Powers joke, but I was like, no, silver. Thinking it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm sorry. When they go, I'm sorry, but they're really enjoying it.
Yeah.
When they're really enjoying rejecting you, that fucking, what's it called, Minnesota nice.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, but we can't let gold members who fly with Aer Lingus on because that's a -1 in scum points.
Yeah.
In this place, the tone of the place would have the likes of you in here.
Yeah, we can't give people bonus points and air miles for regularly taking Aer Lingus flights because that's how we ship cattle. So it's only got to be. So mind you, British Airways does not get to pretend to be an exclusive club that you want to be part of anymore. They've lost that right.
Nah, and I was like, I even was like, oh, well, that's a shame because I wouldn't have left earlier. And and she was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, because the only reason I booked this flight was because it was through British Airways partners, and that's how I book all my flights because of the privileges. And she's like,
and she's just there frigging herself under the table.
She was fucking loving it. The more I talked.
Aye.
It's a shame on you.
Just being like, and tell me how none of the other shops are open. go see if you can talk W.H. Smith into getting your coffee. Do they have a coffee machine? Nah, but I know they've got one in the staff room. You can try there, you fucking loser.
And I was sat in one of them pseudo W.H. Smith Weatherspoons. You know what? It's not a Weatherspoons.
Aye.
But they're Weatherspoons.
Yeah.
But they charge like they're not.
Yeah.
Like they're like £13 for a breakfast, even though like you're Weatherspoons in disguise and you're charging us premium rates on the thing. Stop it.
Yeah.
So I sat in one of them just shouting at people going, I'm better than this.
Just flashing your silver membership around. I shouldn't be here.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be here. There are different rules for some reason.
I'm sitting here out of choice, actually.
It's class snobbery is what it is. Not something I would ever lower myself to, you fucking scumbags.
So I had an extra hour in the airport for nothing.
Aye. I got onto my Aer Lingus flight and you got on the back of the plane. And
oh yeah, I found that out because I booked in seat 1D, so I could be in the aisle at the front.
Yep.
And then just jump straight off.
Yeah. Oh, please, can I be last in the taxi rank queue? That would do me huge fucking favours.
The loaded were from the back, and I was just like last one off. I was like, on the same day I went to the airport earlier. I was like, why? I'm good at travelling. I plan to be travelling well.
You get into your taxi and he puts all of your luggage in the front seat, the back seats, and he's like, mate, you're in the boot, I'm sorry. But I feel there's another way you could do this. I know, but they're already in there and I've put the seatbelts on at this point. It's a much less kerfuffle if you just get into the boot.
I read extra points for kerfuffle. I'm getting in the boot. Good use of kerfuffle, sir.
So I got in the back of an Air.
They hate it when you call them Air England. They really get upset at that.
Aer Lingus flight, and there was Indian family. So it's dad, mum, teenage daughter, and I walk on the back. And you know when you're just sort of looking for your seats, but you're also making eye contact with people in their seats. So I look down there, and this 15-year-old Indian girl, her eyes just widen, right? So I'm just
a white man
going to Ireland, huh? Her eyes widen, and I'm like, okay, I've been recognised here. That's what this is. And sometimes I don't catch being recognised. Sometimes I can. I'll point it out to me, being like, those people over there recognise you. Or did you hear those people talking about you there? And I'm like, no. But other times it's just very obvious, and I do enjoy watching how people react because, man, I could not just be more of a, angry, dull shit person in real life, but obviously because of the image I've created on stage and because you don't choose how people consume your art, so it means a lot to people. So she's just one of those ones where she's just went, right? And then while trying to be subtle and me still making eye contact with her, was grabbing and tapping her mum, and I'm like, I can see all of this, like none of that. She's like, and I'm like, I can see all of this is in my periphery.
It's even more.
She's just fucking slapping away, playing patty cake under the table.
And that's just like, it's a toddler, just like, fuck off, man.
Right. So eventually, so I end up just sitting down in front of them, and eventually I get a tap on the shoulder and I turn around and it's the dad, and he goes, hi, my daughter's a big fan of your work. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. So I'm like, oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I didn't say where are you off to. I'm like, well, what are you going to be doing in Belfast? And they're like, oh, we're just visiting all the UK and we want to see all the bits of it. What about you? And I'm like, oh, I'm over doing a show. And they're like, would you ever play India? And I'm like, we are genuinely at the moment.
What are you in the comments section of my Twitch?
I'm like, we're genuinely at the moment in the works. We're talking to, I think, the right people at the moment to try and get it lined up for next year, 2024. Do you have any recommendations? So we're just having a wee fucking blather. And then he eventually goes, I'll let you get back to, just reading or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'll do a photo with you afterwards, when we're out on the tarmac or whatever. And he goes, anyway, if you do come to Delhi, we've not seen your comedy, but she speaks so highly of you, me and the missus will just take her. And I was like, oh no, no, do not. Okay. Sorry, please don't do that. Please buy your daughter tickets to the show. Maybe drop her off. Because at the moment, you have this image in your head of me of being a very down-to-earth, kind, charming person who's like, I would love to make the time of day for your daughter who's a fan. And then you're going to see me on stage being like,
You're like,
cunt, fuck, shit, piss, and there is no God. Suck my fucking weed smoking balls.
and you've got like really firm opinions on only children, and she's quite clearly
yeah. And all the last 20 minutes of really, really racist stuff I do in the show. Just got mixed up.
Like Matty at a wedding. You see Matty at the Indian wedding?
No.
Oh, so it was like, I think it was Amir's, his fiance's sister, getting married, and he was classed as family, so he had to put the full garb on, and he was the only white man in full garb. He looked like the shopkeeper on Shameless. You see Shameless? No, she just keeps the corner shop and she wears all the full dress and that. And he had the way like an Indian wedding is, there's loads of different bits of it, right? And one of them is like they went from Birmingham where the wedding was to London where this church. They hate it when you call it church. What's it called again? Shrine? However, man, Kai.
What would they pray to? What religion were you talking? Buddhism?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm out me deaf. I'm fucking well out me deaf. Temple. I was looking for temple. That's all I was looking for.
Okay. I'm glad I wasn't like, Taj Mahal.
Synagogue. Synagogue. So I had to go to the temple, and then being like Milo McCabe Greeters Guild, everybody that came into the temple.
Yeah.
And just like, so loads of Indian people who pray all the time at the temple are coming in, and Matty's just stood there, white boy, just going, how are you? How are you, love? Yeah, just pray over there, put your money in that. So I saw the videos of him on Instagram at the wedding as well. He was like, he had something on his head, and he had like, I don't know, like ashtrays and all that.
Oh, man, I genuinely thought you were going to be like, and he had 6 hands and a trunk.
And they're like, Matty, stop, please stop.
This is also culturally insensitive. Just wait till I order a chicken tikka masala. Were you just telling me there that chicken pakora is Scottish?
Aye. Just thought I'd lie to you. My source is Natalie, who's kind of brown, and 100% Scottish. And she says that it's a Scottish thing.
That would make sense because pakora is a really good word to say in like a thick Scottish accent.
Pakora.
Can I get some chicken pakora, please? None of that mushroom pakora. Just gives you
pakora.
Everything's just a small 2-letter syllable. Pakora. It's like the way I say cara just to annoy her. Cara. Aye. Pakora.
Caroline Herrera. Speaking of, you told me something in there that I didn't believe you, and then Matthew Googled it, because that's what he does. He Googles facts and tells them to really spoils the party.
Lots of people, hey, I only found this out the other day. So the way it obviously works as a human being is you work out something new and you find it very interesting, and then what you then do is you offer out that fact to everyone else as if you've known it forever.
Until people start going, you've already told us, man. I was on the the car with you when you told us 3 times.
Yeah.
And the one you told us was...
For those of you out there who think the phrase is, you've got another thing coming, THING, you've got another thing. Oh, if you think you're going to do that, you've got another thing coming. That's not actually what it is. No. The sentence is actually, you've got another think coming.
Which makes sense.
Because, hey...
I'm not against it. It just doesn't scan.
If you think you're going to... No, it scans way more. If you think you're going to do that, you've got another think coming.
Aye, but think coming's just a...
But what thing's coming? What was the first thing?
And I get it. I just, like, I can see why people changed it to thing. It just rolls off the tongue better as thing.
No, I think it was people, like, smooshing it together, being like, you've got another think coming. And then the K and the J with the G merged together.
Do you know this when Jeff Hurst scored against West Germany? They were like, they think it's all over, and everyone thinks they think it's all over. It is now. It was actually thing. I'm just going to do this with everything now.
No, please don't.
It's all right. That's all I could think of. I'm out.
Good. Because anything else will make me kill myself.
Anything else? Oh, right, that's what you did.
Oh, my fucking God. My fucking God.
I dismantle your joke and put it back in the box. Not for me.
I need you to work out, help me work out whether I'm in the doghouse or not. Now,
What have you done?
I've
I
got-
think it would take you a lot as well.
Oh well, I'm not in the actual real doghouse, but you know how occasionally in a relationship you'll do something without really thinking, not necessarily the consequences. You just do something, and then later on you go, oh, okay, that had these consequences, and I didn't think about this person's emotions in that. Like there was no malice or ill intent in it, but at the end of the day, I probably did do something about it. And look, I've never been in the doghouse with Cara. That's not how we work. We have effective communication with each other where I'm like, it's upsetting you, and we're healthy. But when it's like minor small stuff and you're like, this isn't worth having a fucking conversation over. So, little Ali, his daughter is 3 months older than my son. And
You forgot his name there.
well, no.
What's his name?
Well,
My son.
Well, yeah. Well, I was trying to work out. I'm like, am I going to say his name? Have I said? And I've definitely said his name on the
of course you
podcast. And then one of my friends from high school, Graham, has a son as well who is about 4 months old. So today was actually the first time all three of us just went to a park in Dunfermline with our three kids. Just the three boys that went to high school together.
Oh, that's nice.
It was.
It's sweet, isn't it?
Aye, we were just walking around being like, and not like, oh, who thought this would be our life, but just being like, isn't this fucking great that this is our life? Like, I'm so glad that we all had kids, like, within 9 months of each other. Like, because this is the most different they'll ever be from each other in terms of what they're capable of doing. Like, and that'll be the case for the first, 3 years, want to be a year old. But once they're, 5, 6, who gives a shit? So we're having a nice time. I put Caelan on the swings, and he's loving it. He's never been on the swings before, right? He's having the time of his fucking life because he's finally sitting up. He's getting better at holding his back up. You can sit him down by himself, and he'll.
So you put him in the little trolley seat ones.
Yeah, those ones, and I'm pushing him, and oh my god, he loved it. Right? He was laughing, he was smiling. Didn't really know how to hold on, but he didn't
You get him over the top, and he went into a different dimension.
Yeah. No, I flicked him over the top. He did a backflip and landed back in it. It was dead sick.
Nice.
Aye.
Nice.
And then I send a picture and the videos to Cara to be like, hey, look, I'm keeping our son alive. And not only that, I'm entertaining him. And she sends me a message back being like, that's his first time in a swing.
Oh, hold on. Are you sticking that with everything?
Well, so are we? Because man, I absolutely see where she's coming from. Because there's small things like, had she fed him for the first time when I wasn't there, I definitely would have had
You could have starved him till I got back from work.
yeah, you just give him titty milk until I'm back, and that would have been one. I think for a lot of the stuff
But you're gonna miss Hot as a Fist.
yeah, but I'm going to miss him doing 100 firsts naturally. I might miss the first steps.
You're physically going out your way. Well, like fucking I'll show her. Just have him riding a bike and all that.
Man, we're at the fucking park. I'm not going to not put him in a swing. I've got
All the other kids are on the swing.
Yeah, everyone else is looking around. All the other kids are having fun. But then I am also like, oh yeah, I mean, that is definitely the first time he's been.
But you sent a video, but
Aye, and man, she's not
yeah,
she's not angry, but she's definitely not angry.
but she just mourned a little bit of a loss.
Aye,
That's
but
it,
I'm like, am I? Is it worth an apology, or is it just is it am I bringing up? Am I just thinking she's being overly sensitive there, or because man. Thank fucking God I didn't film him going down the slide.
Shame that you're finding this out on the podcast.
Well, actually, he went down the slide. Me and Ali just right because we're both adults.
You went down the slide too.
No, we just put
Getting the kids to hold the camera.
It was a wide slide, so we just started racing our babies.
Right, of course. Poo sticks, drop them over the bridge, stand at the end of the river. A couple of them are drowning, but you won. That's the main thing.
Yeah. I don't think she's. Look, if she's not angry, right? That's not the emotion that's going to be there. I think the only emotion that will be there, which is a bit of disappointment. And I'm asking you what you think on the scale of disappointment that is. Because, I mean, you raised the good point of, there's heaps of firsts and I'll be missing a bunch of them. But I think the first time we'll miss, I might miss his first word, I might miss his first steps and stuff. I really hope I don't. But, what with me being away, something that can happen.
I think it's one of them where, it's worth like the conversation that you had, but no more than that.
Yeah.
I think like it's not like a game on, bitch.
Yeah. So it's generally that was the thing in my head because I was like, what if she tries to one up me here, which she won't because that's pettiness and she doesn't.
What one would get you? What would get you if she'd done a thing with him and you were like, oh, imagine she took him his first football match when he was like 6. You'd be fucking mortified.
that would.
Just imagining that face as they come with when you come with the fucking like I want to say the tunnel, but that's when you come out the pitch. When you come the concourse onto the stadium, and you just see the fucking magnitude of it and feel that atmosphere of all the bodies in that, and see everyone in their fucking team colours. Like I remember the first time I had that, I was probably like 19 or something.
You and me have two very different first stadium experiences because clearly your first stadium
St James's Park. It was Peter Beardsley's testimonial.
Mine was Old Bayview. In Methil.
I don't.
like I'm not like man. If she wants to take him to an East Fife game,
but not Hampden. Don't do Hampden. If she took him to Hampden to watch Scotland, would you be like, well, it was just a swing?
I've not even been to Hampden. Oh no, that's not true. I think I've watched, but I don't think I've definitely not watched football.
I've been to Hampden to watch Coldplay.
Oh yeah,
that was an accident, by the way. It was just I was looking for the shop.
Just turned up being like, are these Old Firm tickets out of date?
I enjoyed them actually. I've seen them again since. I think they're amazing live. I wouldn't put them down as one of my favourite bands, but put on such a good live show.
And you know all of their songs.
I bought tickets to Jay-Z and Coldplay, and this is when we lived in Blythe. And drove all the way to Hampden to watch it. Got stuck in traffic, struggled to get parked, took ages to get in. Jay-Z had just finished, and then Coldplay came on. I was like, well, I'm glad we drove all this way.
Sorry, I thought that story was going to be like Jay-Z was on the plane to that gig, and then we'd be like, I'm going to finally listen to this Coldplay and find out. Turn it around! Turn it around! No, gross. But apparently his wife makes candles out of her fanny. Not interested. This is not my kind of guy.
But he came back on to sing Kanye's bit of Forever Young. Is it Forever Young he done with him? Oh no, that was something else. That was with Mr. Hudson. I don't know. He came back on.
Ask me some questions about Imagine Dragons or Creed and I'll help you.
I get that's so tragic. I get to say I saw Jay-Z live because he came on to do a feature on a Coldplay song, but I didn't see it. The other one was the Commonwealth Games. Again, I went to see Mo Farah. I got there, he finished. It's fast. He pulled it.
Did he?
Aye. Bored.
Just not in the mood.
He was like, fuck man, I don't know. He was playing for Jules Blitz and he was on his high score and he was like, stop this. But it was good watching, but I've never seen a football match there.
I think if she were to take him to like his first water park without me, that would be gutting.
That would do you.
Oh, that would be gutting. Aye. But also because then that would be because me and Cara, we both love water parks, and I'm like you know.
For me, as if she took him to his first strippers, I'd be like, that was for me. That was meant to be me. I was meant to dance for him.
Aye.
Well, did we both just look at the board?
We did.
What's coming up next? I wanted to ask you about these things. They're nice.
Aye.
I've listened to the start of your last podcast with Colin.
Yeah.
And he mentioned about you've got like 20 pairs of shoes now. And then I saw you at Belfast, and you had a different pair onto them ones. So I'm spotting now that what you have done is exactly what I did with Peggy.
Oh,
I've made my stance perfectly clear on a thing on a podcast, and there's receipts of it in the archive of the podcast. And then I became that guy. And you've done that because it's a Muggle corner where you just fucking raid on people who collect trainers and like queue up for the special edition trainers and all that.
But in my defence, this watch was free.
Because you did put watches under the bus as well. We both have.
Well, yeah. But
like anybody that's spending like a certain amount of money on a watch, it's like it's your buying status. And it's
and to be fair, also like Cara the other day, she was like, "You really like those shoes because of the label," and I'm like, I can't deny that is part of it. But after putting on my first pair of Air Jordans, I was like, "Fuck, these are comfy as shit," and I do really like the way they look.
Aye, big fan. So do you only collect Jordans?
No. I mean, literally, like we know what I'm like. I'll get into the thing for 2 months and then not. But the good thing is, if you get into shoes for 2 months, you've still got them for the rest of your fucking life.
Aye.
Like if
Oh,
I
but
get,
you'd probably fucking wear them to go and walk and run the fields and all that. Like,
man, I bought.
like Elliot made us carry him to the car, once because he's new trainers. It was raining and there was water on the floor, and he made us put him on his back. And then I carried him like that.
I bought a pair of when I was in New York. I bought a pair of brown fucking gazelles. And then me and Cara went for a walk the other day, and she was like, "Are you honestly wearing your new shoes on a rainy day?" And I was like, "It did not even occur to me
To not use them as shoes.
No. But like, man, they're fucking white and they're suede. You don't wear those. Like, they're white soled and suede brown material. You don't wear those on a fucking muddy day. She's like, "Do you want to turn around?" And I'm like, I mean, I do and I should. But maybe this is an important lesson that I need to learn about why I just can't buy myself nice things.
Aye. You're bad at it. And what got you started? Did you just buy a pair just because you were shopping around? You were like, "I'll try these on."
Well, you know what? It was like I started to.
Was it like a Reddit forum? Is there a friend that give you a first hit?
It's, to be 100% honest, right? It comes. There was a while ago we spoke about this when I started getting into like buying stuff from ASOS, right? Just because.
Try it on in the house and send it back.
Yeah. And also, like, I'm at a stage.
Little catwalks and that.
But like, I'm in a really, really good, happy relationship with the love of my life. But I still want her, even though I know she loves me and I know she'll love me forever.
I want her to like my feet. I want her to think my feet are class.
Well, no, but I want her to like. You know how I dress. Everyone sees. Like, I've got no fucking fashion sense, and thankfully, Cara loves me for who I am on the inside. But it is that thing where you're going, I am just making you walk around with like a big ditzy fucking bark. Like there's this really beautiful woman and a guy just in like fucking trackies and scuffed up shoes and a hoodie with like curry stains on it and a spliff hanging out his mouth. I'm like, I'm not. Like, you're doing me huge favor. I walk around with you, people like Sloss is doing well, and Cara must be in this for the money. Like, she's got, and that's not fair to walk around and just make people be like, well, she's only with him for the money, because that's categorically why she's not with me. So, and man,
that didn't work as a sentence.
What?
That would mean she's not with you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
She's not with me because of the money.
All right. So when I was on ASOS, I was buying trainers that I thought would go with things, and then they came out, and I'm looking at them, and I'll show you the ones in the house. I'm like, these are just knockoff Jordans. These are just like knockoff, and it's from ASOS, which is great because they were so fucking cheap, and they were really, and they look decent. But you look at them, you go, these are just like the step down.
The two stripes.
Yeah, and I've got nothing against that, but also then I'm just like, man, I've got money. Like you can treat yourself to things occasionally. So we were in New York and we walked past the next store. And to be fair, we went into several stores with Jordans in them, and Carol was like, just buy yourself a pair. Like, you clearly want one. And I was like, no, but I've made such a strong stance in the past about not.
Aye.
Like, I can't.
But we've went back in so many of them now, no one's going to respect for our opinion.
Like, it's growth. It might not be growth in a positive direction, but it's, tumour's also a growth.
Growth that isn't in a positive direction is just change.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah,
no.
Just changing.
Yeah. So we go to the next store. I find a pair that I really like, and I've been looking at them in a bunch of stores. And I'm like, I'm going to get those. And the guy goes, if you sign up to Nike today, you get a 50% discount on everything you buy today. And I was like, what?
Everything I buy.
Everything I buy. And he was like, everything you buy. I'm like, so I would buy 2 pairs of Jordans for the price of one. He's like, yep. And I'm like, well, I'll get 2 pairs of Jordans then. And so then I got 2 pairs, and then
now we've got 20 pairs. That's how they get you.
Yeah. So
Got you
I
good.
don't have 20 pairs.
Oh, that's what Cullen said as well.
Aye.
Wait a minute. Is Ryan Cullen extending the truth?
Yes.
Is he using hyperbole?
Aye. Well, that's what he always does. Like, and that's what he gets from.
I love it when he's like, everybody on the internet's saying this, and then he types in the keywords and finds the one liked tweet.
Yeah.
He goes, see everyone on the internet.
Anti-vax research.
Yeah.
Vaxisms, vaccines causing autisms.
Vaxisms.
I'm not even high.
You're not?
No.
Oh, wow.
No. I mean, we will be for the Patreon episode.
Oh, yeah. If you listen to Patreon, you've already listened to that because we released that on Thursday. But after this, we're going to record the Q&A, the Patreon Q&A.
Yeah.
A lot of questions. Last time we did that, we did it really high with Ari.
Yeah.
And I think we got the first question and just used that as a jump off to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And we've done a 1 hour answer to the one
Which
question.
I think is fine, because as long as you're just having a proper blether. I mean, look at me listening. Listen to me just telling the fans what they want. I'm like, they enjoy this meandering bullshit that we do. I mean, they must. They're still here. Oh,
Enjoy, accept.
Man, the other day, right, I was walking, I'd gone to the Philharmonic in Liverpool, right, this was when you weren't there, it was Gareth was supporting, and I was going down to meet Dean and Amy from the Mild High Club, just to get some dinner with
I think
them.
we're seeing them tomorrow.
Yeah, we are. Aye, they're great.
Get onto that in a second as well.
Aye.
I should write that on the board, right?
Have a
I'm
word.
just picking up Matthew. Write that on the board, Matthew. I'm a silver member.
Fucking hell's finally got a bit of staff, does he? Jesus. And I see your true colours, and that's why I loathe you so. Don't be afraid.
Can I just try and spin it?
Sure.
I was trying to be like, I've just thought of something, write that on the notice.
Aye.
That's exactly what happened. We've got it recorded, we can watch it back. As we watch, I'm just like, oh yeah, we've got a notice board, we've got stuff. Sorry, I'm driving to see Dean.
No, I was just walking down to the restaurant named after your wife.
Mowgli's?
Yep.
Yes.
And there's, man, it's like 2 hours before the gig, and I've got my hood up. And you know when you just catch snippets of conversations, right? It's a famous comedy fucking trope. The snippet of conversation I caught was the following. God, I really can't wait to see him. Do you know he's got a podcast? I heard it's pretty decent. And his girlfriend went, I've heard it's not.
About us. Amazing.
I was like, yeah, all right, fair enough.
It is. You know what, right? I can see why people like it. But I can also see why people never mention that they've listened to it.
I think if you've listened to this podcast for a long time, you understand fully what it is. And, you know, there's podcasts that I really, really like. And as time goes on, there's like the occasional part you go, well, this isn't as good as the previous episodes. This definitely isn't my favourite episode. But I still listen to it. I still like hearing those familiar voices talking about things because, you know, they've got a relationship with each other. And I feel like I know that. Like I get.
So you've got to tune into it.
Aye.
And when you're tuned in, you're like, oh, that's all right. Aye. But like, you're not gonna suggest putting this on in a car with some people that haven't listened to it, really, are you?
No. And
if you're doing that right now, shame on you.
Yeah, I reckon people do it because this is the way I do. Whenever you're trying to recommend a podcast to someone, you go, hey, here's 5 episodes that you need to listen to, and then you can just go from chaos.
I'm sure people used the episode where we had a reunion. That's the word.
Yeah.
We had a reunion in Australia where we'd both been doing the podcast separately for a while, and then we got back and had I not been away to Thailand and proposed.
Yeah.
And then when I come back, I filled you in on that. There's an episode that, and like, I think people throw that one at their pals to get them into it, and then just going, it's up to you after that.
Yeah. No. That's like the first proper hit of fucking.
That's your first. That's your half price Air Jordans.
Aye. And then to be honest, some of these episodes are fucking fentanyl. Be like, hey, no, is this cut with anything? No. But like, don't take heaps of.
This one's been cut with Cullen.
Fentanyl.
Wow. Yeah. Well, where we're going tomorrow? We're going to run a restaurant.
Oh yeah. So have a word of doing their Patreon.
He didn't write it down, by the way, everyone, because he doesn't answer the clicks. I had to remember. He made us remember that one.
I wasn't paying attention. I don't even know what you wanted me to.
That's why you
clicking. I still don't know what you wanted me to write on the board.
Just have a word. So we're going down to Liverpool tomorrow to have a word, have one of their Patreon specials because they put heaps more effort into things than we do. And they've rented out a restaurant where it's going to be staffed by previous guests that they've had on the podcast. I have no idea what our role is yet.
Nah, we haven't been told.
Nah.
I'm assuming, like, surely we're not going to be involved in the cooking. Will they have comedians who know how to cook where you can, right, sweet, you can make the meals.
Yeah.
I think you guys build the menu with us and the build up so you know what you can do.
I don't know who the chefs are, but they have already been picked because they need to arrive earlier than we do tomorrow. I don't know what our job is, but like we're now in the like WhatsApp group of all the comedians doing it. And I think it was Freddie Quinn was like, are we all going out and getting pissed after this tomorrow? I'm like, after? After. I'm sorry.
You expect me to use knives sober?
No. But if I'm doing the bar, if I'm the fucking maitre d', if I'm the fucking greeter, or if I'm a fucking waiter, I'm happy to do any of those things. Don't for a fucking second think I'm doing any of this fucking. This isn't my job.
Mate, if I'm washing dishes, I'm drinking the dishwater, mate.
Like, man, I'm fucking like Dean and Amy from the Mile to High Club are there. I'm gonna be at the back of them and be like, should we just get fucking baked? Because man, it's not real. It's not real restaurant patrons. It's patrons of Have a Word. So I'm like, I'm not getting tipped. I'm not working for tips. Like I'm not saying I'm gonna be.
They're here to see me drunk.
I'm not going down there to do my best job.
The training I've done is I've been listening to Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential.
Aye.
So I may kill myself at the end of it.
I'm looking forward to it because I think it'll be.
It's gonna be fucking chaos.
Yeah, good, and that's why I'll be drunk and stoned for it.
Aye.
Should we get drunk after? You fucking losers.
We are going to go out after though.
Yeah. For a couple of bevs, and then drive back up on Wednesday, and then we're up in Aberdeen.
Aye, I've just been there. That's what I was getting at. I thought, oh mate, I had to take the megabus. It was a must. The trains couldn't be trusted. There was a strike, and I had to get there. It was my solo show, and I had to get there. And I fucking I jumped because I flew in from Belfast to Glasgow, and then got straight to the bus into town, and then got the megabus. And it was actually like everyone was like quite, because the trains were on strike, so it's people who would usually get a train. So I was looking around, going, "Oh, this isn't usual megabus clientele. This is grand." And I looked at myself.
And everyone's looking at you being like, this is why I never take the fucking megabus.
Oh, people are watching me whack, doing next to me.
Everyone just ignore him. He's probably just on here asking for spare change.
It was class. I really enjoyed Davy's solo show. And then afterwards, I was backstage. And the Shauna, who runs the comedy festival, come in, and she threw a dog toilets. And then that's so Peggy doesn't chew your tampons.
Your tampons.
She had no context. One of our listeners had seen us on Instagram, and saw Peggy with one of Natalie's tampons chewing on it, and then brought us that with that message. With no like Shauna's just like, so Peggy doesn't chew your tampons, mate.
You know your dog gets a period.
Not anymore.
Not anymore because it's
Could have womb out.
Right, but when she
Get
did
it with some father beans.
Father beans.
Father beans.
Father beans.
Upgrade your Patreon and you can be a father bean. To my dad beans out there. Your dad's got a bean.
And he likes to flick it.
Your dad's got his clip pierced. Princess Albert.
Do you... God, what a brutal. I mean, I know it's never right to give any girl a boy's name, but well, not never right. There's something can. But Albert is not a gender-neutral name.
Nah.
This is my beautiful bouncing daughter, Albert. Bertha for short.
Say hello, Albert. Hello. My name's Albert.
My little Princess Albert. God, I love her bald head so much. She's 7 years old. And she's just never... No chemo, nothing wrong with her.
Nah,
we just named her Albert, and now she's never had any hair.
I can't believe you suggested chemo. She's got a beard. She wouldn't have kept that.
You know, your dog gets... Well, when it did get periods, there's no... You don't get dog tampons.
Nah. Yeah, I think you can get little, like, puppy nappies.
Aye.
Just to see. We just had a free bleed out of the house, and that's just squirting and it's like an open artery, just everywhere. Trying to get out the way of it. I was like a dog with a hose pipe, snacking away that period blood.
Is it just like when you don't shake up the ketchup bottle and you squeeze it? Just pink
horrible pink piss water that comes out instead of ketchup. Just batting it away with my hand.
I've got to get rid of this so I can get to the good thick stuff.
Yeah, Peggy, giving her a squeeze, squeezing her womb. Slapping out like the bottle.
People come round and they'll be like, hold on, do you keep your dog in the fridge? You know, it doesn't say on it to keep it in the fridge. It says store in a cool, dry place. What's cooler and drier than a fridge?
And then going on Facebook to try and start like a little interaction with people going, do you keep your period dog in the fridge or in the cupboard? My mate's mental, keeps it in the fridge.
You think that's mental? My mate walks his ketchup. Drags it on round by the lead, all round the back.
He's like, come on then. Ketchup! You know them people that turned it off in the car earlier?
Oh God, they're missing out.
They really missed a good bit, didn't they?
Well, no. No, they missed us enjoying ourselves.
It's funny because like, every now and again I see like Matthew write something down and I'm like, well, we'll have to edit this out.
He's just playing hangman by himself, but it's just a very accurate drawing of himself.
Purposefully gets all the letters wrong even though he knows the word. He wrote the word and he's like, Z again.
Any more banter?
Just be charging me batteries, mate. I'm just charging up.
Oh, well, right. So, Caelan, we've always had him in nappies, because that's what you're meant to do. But if the nappies where they're just down and you fucking wrap it around him, you fold it around him like a bit of origami, and it's great. He's now getting to the stage where I'm no longer changing a baby. It's the early steps.
He changes you. It's like, how did I lose this posture?
Yeah. I'm very upset, but I am glad I don't have to go upstairs to shit.
Yeah. Is this the one I've just took off you?
The poo's going back in. No. You know how
I'm talking about this food like so fuck.
I was going to go more for it. You know how like water drops join up with each other. If I put like a poopy nappy on my bum, it could smell the poo inside my butthole, and it's like, oh, family.
It just forms like Voltron.
I'm now wrestling a kid into a nappy because all he wants to do is roll over and look at other shit. And man, I can wrestle a baby. Like I'm not a
bragger. This guy.
Guy, Cara still hasn't bought me a belt yet.
Did I ever tell you about when I overheard my brother having patter? I'll translate that. My brother having a chat with a girl. Mm-hmm. I was in the bathroom, I could hear him chatting, just having a smoke outside, right, or something. And a dog started barking in the other garden. Wasn't even a big dog. You could tell by its bark.
Aye.
Yappy dog.
Yeah.
Gav went, I could have that dog. I must put it in there. We were teenagers, but still. But he postured. He's like, I could chin that dog. You'd have to get through the fence, you'll see. You're safe here with me, love. What's in this? So, you can wrestle a baby.
So I can wrestle a baby into it, and it's fine, but it's just like it's the clouds before the storm. Like it's been so easy to change him at this point, but it was like changing a fucking doll.
But yeah, like one day he's going to be bigger than me. He's going to be the size of Jack. He tried to put his nappy on. He's like, "Damn man, you're embarrassing us in front of me friends."
Well, not as embarrassed I am with the son that still shits himself. So, because like he's grown up. He's no longer a newborn. He's now a baby, right? And he's getting more and more like a baby every single day. And it's, again, these are when the choices of parenthood comes in. Like, obviously, in my head now, I'm like, I don't want him to be in nappies beyond, like, 3 years old. Which to parents out there are probably laughing their ass off at that, being like, you deluded fuck. Like, in the same way that Cara was like, before Caelan was here, She was like, I just want to breastfeed for 6 months and then I'll stop then. And then we're now 8 months in. And she loves breastfeeding, man. She loves it so much.
She's just taking on a job as a wet nurse.
And she's like, I don't want to give this up. It's like such a bonding moment. It's soothing for him. It's soothing for me. And I'm like, man, I don't give a fucking shit. Like, as long as you're happy doing it. But that's also not true because we all know there is, everyone has an age in their head where breastfeeding gets creepy. Like, because at the moment he'll do this. He'll be sucking on one titty. He'll be sucking on one of her titties, and then with his other hand, he'll just be pinching her other nipple.
Having a gun.
Oh, imagine. He's been like, how's the flow here?
just checking the pipes on this one. You need to change the barrel on this one. So I get you in the cellar, get another barrel of milk.
Aye, can we get some Guinness in this one?
Old Guinness tits.
So with the nappy changing bit, he's now getting to the age where we're like, right, I want it to be at nappies then because I think that's fine. I don't want him to be. I think, and this is just me personally, and I know a lot of people agree with me. However you choose to breastfeed, be happy with that. I think, and this is Jim Jeffries bit, so I don't want to get too close to it or stay on it.
And then you start doing an Aussie accent.
If the kid is capable of asking for the milk,
Aye.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd swear.
If the kid's snapping the one-handed bra strap.
If the kid is like you asking for strudel,
I'm ready for my
mother, I'm ready for my strudel now. I think that's a bit off. But then again, everything we've said, we were like, we're not going to give him any screens, and then we discovered Bluey, and we're like, well, now we just want to watch Bluey.
Oh, you've made me want to watch Bluey.
Oh God, it's the best kid show out there. Because we've watched some other kids stuff, and all the other kids stuff is good, just in the sense that like it's visually stimulating for them, and they like the characters. But like Cocomelon is just a bunch of fucking songs, so that's good. Like we learned some of the songs, you can sing it to him. But man, you can't watch fucking Cocomelon on repeat, otherwise you'll put a gun to your head and just blow your fucking brains out. Like Into the Night Garden, we've never watched it, but that was one where when Milo's kids were young, he was like, I fucking hate that show so much, like because it's
What a torture for them.
Yeah, because
and the kids just like the safe nature of like I know what's coming next. And
and his bright lights, his moving things, and sometimes there's nothing to the show like in the Night Garden. There's no like I don't think there's any like particular story. If there are, they're not good. Bluey is really good animation and
you're seeing good life lessons.
Good life lessons. Really, really like I hate to sound like a fucking woke cuck, but you know you've also listened to all these episodes of the podcast, so you know what I'm like. Man, one of the ones was like, so there's Bluey, which is the big sister, but I'm going to assume she's like 3 or 4, and then there's Bingo, the little sister, who's like, I'm going to say 3, or maybe like 5 and 3 is probably the ages, and they're all like Dad's playing with them both, and he's a bit rough with Bingo, and she just gets upset and she goes outside, and her mum comes out and she's like, what's wrong?
Do that leg.
What? I mean, her dad's a dog. He fucking
just ragdolled that.
Oh man, it's brutal. Absolutely fucking brutal. They're all Rottweilers. It's a really brutal show. Like she came back in with the fucking cone of shame on round her head, and he was like, "She can't see me coming now." And they draw the blood. It's really graphic.
Really good lessons for kids.
Aye, which is don't trust pit bulls. Either the singer or the dog. So she's outside and she's upset, and her mum's like, what's wrong? She's like, Dad was a bit rough with me, but I like Dad playing, but it was just a bit rough. And she's like, well, you just have to tell Dad that. Like, you're allowed to be upset by things, but you're allowed to just also explain what your boundaries are within, you know, this isn't the way they phrased it. She wasn't like, you've just got to explain what your boundaries are within the parameters of the relationship with your father. But, like, that's what it's about. Man,
do you ever remember, like, your parents getting too rough with you?
Only during sex.
Same. That was with your parents, but with mine, it was.
Well, I mean, never with your parents. They're always so gentle.
I remember getting tickled off my dad, and I was like, obviously laughing my head off because you're getting tickled.
Yeah.
So it's like dead funny. And then I just remember like, oh my God, this just doesn't end, and I can't stop him because I'm laughing. I can't stop to tell him, and I just remember me tickling laughter just turned into tears. They're like,
He's just,
Nah, 'cause, that's-
he's just literally tickled all the happiness out of you. And you're like, I still need to make noises. We've got heaps of crying left. Use it.
They're like, Linda, I've just found out what's underneath all of the happiness in Kai.
A bountiful of sadness.
He just buries it under joy. Yeah, that was when we worked together at the airport.
Yeah. I remember I think I was about 5 or 6 years old, and we were up in Thurso, and my dad's side were having like a family get together and thing, and my friend Craig had come up, because obviously my friends up to my grandparents, because otherwise I'd be bored, and we were climbing a tree in my aunt's back garden. And I fell out the tree, but thankfully, my leg... When I say thankfully, I was at most 5 or 6 feet up in the air. Like, I wasn't climbing to the top of the tree. I was at the first branch that sticks out and you can climb up. But my foot got trapped between the fucking branch and the tree. So I'm literally hanging by 1 foot out the tree. I don't have the fucking core strength to, like, pull myself up. And, and I can't defy gravity and just get my leg and be like, oh, I'll just pull this out. Yoink! And then lift myself up 3 feet and drop myself down to the ground. So I'm hanging out with the tree, and so I'm instantly crying because it's a bit sore, and I'm upside down. And I'm like, oh, Craig, go get my dad. And I swear to fucking God, 10 whole minutes later,
Yeah.
my dad finally comes out, because like...
He was definitely on a time trial or something he couldn't pause on the PlayStation.
No, he was just fucking reading, and Craig was like, Martin, Daniel's stuck in the tree. And my dad's like, oh yeah, oh, interested, I'm watching, real interested, oh good. No, but he's really high up in the tree. Oh wow, that's so impressive, I can't wait to come out and see. No, you need to come and help him. Well, not just now. And just could not convince this man that his son was in danger. And so eventually...
Because he's howling and laughing. He's like, honestly, he's crying, he's hanging by 1 foot. He tried to do a single sit-up.
Craig's laughing so hard that he eventually turns to tears himself, and that's when my dad started taking him seriously. You should see him up there. He's getting so upset. And eventually I remember just being upside down, like as the last of my blood gets into my brain before it starts coming out my ears, and just seeing my dad coming out being like, all right, let's see how far up the... Oh, Jesus Christ!
The tree box started growing around you. It's been that long. The tree's just claiming you.
And then I know my mum. My mum only ever smacked me once, and I think I was like 3. Like, I don't remember this, but my mum
thought you were the ketchup bottle.
I was being a bit shit in a restaurant, and she was at the end of her fucking tether, and I cannot express to you what a fucking shitty kid I was.
Oh, I think I know.
Aye, because you've seen what an adult
I toured you with you when you were 19, and you weren't too far removed from your childhood.
Aye. So I think she like took me to the bathroom because she wanted to smack me in front of other people, and she
Just pulled doing the blades and that.
putting on her knuckle dusters. Well, to be fair, so she had a plastic ring on, and I think it was like,
I'm in a bad mood. That mood ring.
I think it was like a ring that I had bought her. Like I got it out of like one of those like 20 pence machines that come out, and she's
that you wrap a 1 pence in paper to put in.
What?
You wrap a 1 pence in paper.
And on those machines, and it works.
It's a 20
Fucking,
pence.
where were you when I was 5? Oh, 24.
I was chasing you at my shop.
You think I was born yesterday? Nobody does.
And I'll be like, oh, he wrapped a lottery ticket around 20. Check the number.
He wrapped it in a 20 quid. What a stupid kid.
Middle class children.
So I think she smacked me once, and the ring broke because it was cheap, shitty plastic. Yeah. I didn't cry, and she did. And then never. She was like, from now on, she was, I'm never hitting any of my kids ever again. Which is something my mum did fucking regularly. I mean, I've not said it on the podcast, but there was a time when he was like 3 or 4 years old, right? And Matthew was so fucking shit between the ages of like 2 and about 6 months ago, and. She was one. I think you and Jack were in the bath, and I don't know what happened, but you were obviously fucking fighting with each other. And my mum yelled and screamed, and then got upset that she'd yelled at her kids, and like in such an angry way, because I think it scared them. And I remember just coming down later on and being like, I'm never shouting again. Like, it doesn't make me feel good.
Daniel's up a tree again. He just ran up like a cat.
And I'm like, but that's not fair. Like, I'm 15. You yelled at me for 50 years. Like, these cunts have only had 5 years of being fucking yelled at, and you've had a fucking epiphany. Piss off. That's not fucking fair. Well, at least choose that in a month you're going to stop yelling, and then every fucking day you wake them up being like, you snorted fucking light!
It's like they started another project and went, right, shouting didn't work last time.
Oh, I mean, look, it's definitely like she was correct in her fucking decisions. Shouting at your kid doesn't really teach your kid anything other than shouting is scary. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not conveying the necessary information. A friend of ours was out for dinner the other day with a friend of theirs who has like a fucking, I think, an 8-month-old kid, and like they were out in a restaurant and the kid was just babbling, and the dad was just like, Joseph, will you be quiet? And you're like, oh buddy, no. First of all, that's not how you speak to babies. Second of all, that's not how you speak to dogs.
That's how you speak to a wife. he was way far down the order there.
But man, I get frustrated sometimes with, you know, if Caelan, he's not being shitty, but man, if he's not going to sleep and he's overtired or whatever, I can understand like the build up, but you don't yell at a baby. You can yell at a 5-year-old. I mean, as I've said, I don't think you should, but then again, I'm not going to be like, I'm never going to yell at my kids because I'm fucking sick of going back on my word in this podcast. So I'm never saying I'll never be anything again. I'm fully open to the possibility that in 10 years I'll be racist, okay?
Smashing his little fucking head in.
Yeah, you know what? I hope you're happy, podcast listeners, because I'm not.
I saw a kid hit his brother in Abattoir in the artist bar at the Fringe. He smacked his brother, and the dad just like grabbed him and ran up towards the corner and just placed him in the corner. I was like, that doesn't make him a muggle. That's not what muggle corner is. What are you doing?
Why? I guess it's like, because one of the studies one of the studies whose headline I read was saying that like with young boys, you kind of have to let them fight each other like little bits, because that's how they become aware of their own strength. Because like it's one of those things where like if you push someone too hard and they fall down and cry, because at that age 5 or 6 you've developed empathy, you then go, oh fuck, I shouldn't do that again. I now know that I'm strong enough to push someone over and hurt them, so I'll need to do that less. Whereas they don't learn that lesson if you just don't let them.
What you do when you hurt someone, when you're fun fighting, you don't go, right, sweet, that worked, noted. I'm perfecting that one.
Turns out that 4-year-old's got weak ankles, so if I just go for those.
I heard a thing, because you know how Natalie was like, if I ever have kids, she'd only want one, because she doesn't like want to have a toddler and a baby. Like, it sounds like hell. Like, fucking, why do people put themselves through this? I heard a thing the other day about if you've got 2 kids, right? You know, if you're on holiday and there's a queue for the water slide, they can queue together. You don't have to go on with them to queue for the water slide. Like, you have to entertain a single kid with a couple of kids. You can give them a deck of cards.
No, to be fair, I think for pedos, that's like getting a double yoke. 2 unattended children. Oh, we feast.
I'm having a knee joy getting out of one. I don't know why I'm coming in at this angle.
Well, me and Graham and Ali were talking about this today, because I was like, we definitely want a second one. But in my head, because Caelan's been such a dream so far, I'm like, I think it'll be way harder to have 2. Because like, you know, today I was able to go, Cara, I'm off to take a shit, and I handed her Caelan, and then I could just go upstairs and shit for, you know, however long I need to fucking shit for, play on my phone for a bit. And then, but like, when there's another,
you've really done yourself a number, because you have the quickest shit ever known to man until you've got a baby.
Well,
and you're just like, oh, I'm just a regular now that I've got sleepless nights. No. Oh, all that coffee.
No, remember, I've got a toilet that gives me an enema every time, so I've got to go through that process. The process of cleaning my arse takes way longer than actually shitting itself. Aye.
Do you still wipe?
Yeah.
Aye. So you still do a paper wipe and then give it a wash?
No. No.
I just do it with my hand now and just wash my hands.
But still in the toilet using the Japanese toilet seat, just like pawing at it like a dog at a fountain. No, you sit in the toilet and you make it spray up your bum because then it gives you like a little, and then it like, I mean, I've said this before in the podcast, it starts a little war between the poo left in your bum and the water, and it's like, well, like, you think you're coming in here, I'll fucking show you, and it gets all your stuff out, and then you got to blow dry it for a bit.
Is it called a Japanese toilet seat? Because if you're not sat in it, there's a little Hiroshima. Made in China. I mean, made in America would have been way better.
Yeah.
A lot better. But I didn't say that, did I?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a producer.
Make me funny. Put all of my misfired jokes into context, please.
Dude, you're going to need to pay me more.
Yeah, sorry, can you also go through all previous episodes of the podcast and edit in Kai laughing at my jokes, please?
Until I cry. Hey, let's wrap this up.
Aye, let's do that. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you would like to become a Patreon member, we would also, oh my God, what a coincidence. We would also like you to be a Patreon member. No way.
Look,
we were just thinking that. That's mad.
You got to the end of an episode and that takes a special breed of people in, and then we like cultivate you.
And you've got £3. You've got 3 to 5 quid a month. Like how do you know that money you're sending to the kid in Africa is actually getting there? A lot of charities are just like fronts for people to like would tax wash their stuff, like, you know, and it's just a front for them to basically money launder, and like they'll put like maybe 1% of the donations in. You don't know.
And
There's no proof that UNICEF is giving all this money.
Do you want to say that we're going to save a kid in Africa?
Aye.
Like just to make you have a better look. If you
because I'll lie for money.
If you send with £3, I'll feed a kid in Africa to the lion. £3.
I'm just saying, there's no guarantee that any of your money is going to those little Saudi Arabian donkeys, right? You don't know. I can guarantee you, your money on the Patreon is coming to buy me Air Jordans. And isn't that what you want to see? Your money well spent.
It's keeping them in sneaks. It is, but it also keeps the podcast coming out 2 weeks. So thank you very much.
And it means we get to pay Matthew and Jack, who are the ones that now edit this together and make it better. And we're adding more stuff to the podcast as we go, and hopefully increasing the quality.
Bye.
Bye.